Film is literature. We're here. What's up, buddy?
How you doing, sir? How we
And
doing today, this evening?
I'm wonderful, dude. I'm wonderful. And for you people watching, I'm Justin, as you can see in the little corner here, and that is Mr. Two Thou.
2000 is a fraternity name, but it
I like it.
carries.
Real name is Kaiser.
Right. Other real name is James.
There we
So
go. You
mhm.
got you got a lot of names, man. You're kind of like Eminem. I
You
feel
gotta
like
keep
he's
them
got a lot of
guessing.
names.
You gotta keep them
Yeah.
guessing.
Oh yeah,
So
for sure. Yeah. Right when they think they know the answers, you switch up the question.
exactly, but you don't want everyone to know your name, so you want that's how you figure out who you know where from where actually. And
I like that.
I
That's
I have
pretty smart.
another name as well for work. So
Oh, really?
yeah.
Man, so that interesting. I wonder, man, I'll have to ask somebody you work with what they call you because I'm
I mean
intrigued.
the real name, not the name they want to call me.
Oh, I
But
got you. Okay. I
so
got you. Well, we're gonna do a movie now. We're taking it way back in time. This might be the oldest movie we've done.
yeah, 40 years.
Yeah.
40
Yeah,
years
40.
old as of June.
Yeah. Okay. We're gonna do the Karate Kid, the original Karate Kid, not one of the sequels, not the remake, not the show. We're doing the original Karate Kid. And James, so how old were you when this movie came out?
8.
So did you go see it in theaters?
We couldn't afford to go see the theaters.
Okay.
But I don't know how I saw it, but I saw it.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know how I saw this daggone movie, but I saw
Like
the movie.
so you saw it when you were like pretty young.
Yes, yes. I was under 10.
Okay.
Um, yeah, I saw this movie under 10.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, this movie came out before I was born, but I also saw it probably before I was 10 years old.
It's a good movie. Most old movies or older films have better actors, better cast, um, actors, cast, music, as you will get into later,
Yeah.
and plot. You know,
This movie this movie was very much into the plot. It was 127 minutes, which by the way, this is the first time I've rewatched this movie probably all the way through, probably in years, and I forgot that it was this long.
there's a lot to the tournament, a lot of pre work to the tournament, a lot of context, a lot of different plots,
Yeah.
different things happening. I can remember around this time the karate boom. This is one of the reasons why the karate it was a karate boom
Oh yeah.
during the mid '80s. So
Yeah, I mean, I remember even into the early 90s when I was old enough to start karate, I remember that was what everybody was doing. So that boom lasted a long time.
it did. It did. It goes in waves. Once you start understanding martial arts and the reason for martial arts is not about the fighting, it's about the discipline more
Yeah.
so than anything. You'll see some of the things that Mr. Miyagi says during the movie has nothing to do with violence, has everything to do
No.
with the way of life. So,
Well, yeah. I mean, we literally see one scene of Daniel training where he was doing offense.
right, right.
Like that's kind of crazy.
Well, he made the training practical as well. If
Yeah.
we'll get into it. He made the training practical as far as everyday things that you do at home.
Yep.
He just tweaked some movements. Made your wrists tighter, made the movement a little more exact.
Yeah.
So yeah, actually, a
Right.
pretty special way of
Practical.
learning. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
really
I like it.
practical way of learning.
Yeah. And this, you mentioned the cast. I mean, this cast was, relatively unknown, I feel like, when this movie came out. Like, you know,
You're
Ralph
absolutely right.
Macchio, yeah, Ralph Macchio had really only done one movie, I feel like, before this.
You know, the funny thing is, it was so long ago. Like I said, I was 8, so I probably
Yeah.
didn't have you know a gauge on who was the actors. Who was the actors, the main
Yeah.
actors. So he was my actor during my age. So I can kind of relate to how he started and his progression in film.
Yeah. So did you go see? They had sequels. Did you go see those in the theaters, or did you watch them like when you were a kid also?
I watched all. I think I watched all the sequels, but
Yeah.
after a while, the sequels start getting watered down. They lose the plot. They lose the things that I like the first one. The first one, this first one is actually a good. It's a good theme. It's a good. It's like it projects like
Absolutely.
be not be nice, however, but work towards something that you want.
Yeah, it's
And
not about the movie's not really about karate.
no,
Like we just use that as a backdrop for him becoming uh for the basically Daniel's character, Ralph Macchio becoming going from a kid to an adult really is what the movie is about, I feel
right.
like.
It's karate is a metaphor for life.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in this
Yeah, I
movie,
think, yeah, talking about the sequels, I'm not even sure if I've ever even seen the third one.
right? Me either.
Um,
I didn't even
yeah.
know until I looked it up. Actually,
Yeah, I mean, I know it's out there, but I don't know if I've ever actually seen it. And then you look at the rest of the cast. You had Mr. Miyagi. He'd been in a couple of things, and then I guess Daniel's girlfriend, Allie with an I.
yeah.
Uh,
Elizabeth Shue or
yeah,
Shot.
Elizabeth Shue. Yeah, big fan. I'm a big fan of hers. She she would definitely. I'll probably see every one of her movies.
Yeah,
Huge fan.
yeah, she's good. All I remember her is this '80s hair. She
Oh
has
yeah.
an '80s do. She like Blair Warner. I don't know if you remember her that Facts of Life.
No, no, I never watched that one.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm aging
Sorry.
myself. So
Yeah, well, I'm not a big TV show person though, really. Like
okay.
there's a reason why we do movies on here instead of shows.
Okay, I understand. I understand.
Yeah, dude, I'm so bad. I'll start a show, be, a season in and then just never watch anymore.
Um, Sometimes some stuff needs to end, and a lot of times these folks don't know how to end the
Yeah.
season, the series. So I get it. I understood.
Yeah, but yeah, Elizabeth Shue with the 80s hair, the 80s look. I think she has to be one of the top 80s women, I feel like when it comes to movies, I
Yeah,
think.
yeah.
She did a lot.
All of them played teenagers, but they was actually grown, probably adults in this movie.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how old she was. How old was she? She couldn't have been that old actually.
I mean, they played
She
maybe
was 20.
juniors,
Yeah, so I think she was playing like a junior. So she was in real life she was 21.
right? 21. That's why the
Yeah.
acting was pretty solid.
Oh yeah.
Um,
But that's
I,
not too bad of an age gap, really. Like,
yeah,
and
it's
that's
5 years.
man, sometimes in movies you got like a 30-year-old playing like a high school kid.
You do, and that's why the acting is better. You know what I mean? That's why the acting is better. You don't see the immaturity in the character because like sometimes the older actors over mature the character.
Yeah.
Over mature a 16-year-old. Who
The
what 16-year-old, does certain things.
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah, I think it's smart to have older uh actors play kids in high school, but the youngest would be Johnny Lawrence, I guess the bad guy in the movie. In real life, William Zabka was only 19 when the movie was
Okay.
made. So he would be youngest. Ralph Macchio was 23.
Right. He was dang on near 30.
Yeah, yeah. You could
Right.
tell too. You could
Yes.
tell.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
actually, he looked pretty young. He
You think
looked pretty
so?
young. Yes, he looked pretty young. They
Man.
he looked pretty young. He ain't look 23, and maybe all these kids 23, 30 on down look young to me. So
Yeah. Well, I got a couple other notes that we'll talk about later, but let's get into like how the movie did when it came out because we already talked about
right.
it a little bit. It was 1984. 1984, June 22nd,
Yep.
84. So you were 8. I was not born yet. Opening weekend. First of all, the Karate Kid only costed $8 million to make, and
Really?
I think it only cost $8 million to make. And I feel like when they made this movie, they did not expect it to be this popular. Like they
And
never expected there to be sequels.
right. But if you think about it, $8 million is probably a lot back then. Yeah.
Agreed. Agree with that. I agree with that. But also, you could just tell in the way that it was made that, it still seemed kind of low budgety.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's 80s. So I don't know if you look at other 80s. I have to look at another 80s movie because I'm thinking about like E.T.,
Yeah.
Indiana Jones,
Oh,
um,
yeah.
those movies, which are good movies. The
Yeah.
Goonies,
The
the
Goonies.
Gremlins. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. The
Those
Gremlins was really good.
all 80s movies. You look at the background, you look at how it was made. The technology, you could tell that the technology gap.
Yeah.
That's all. The cameras was not the same. It wasn't in
No.
4K now,
Yeah.
or maybe higher than that, probably eight.
Yeah. I don't even, dude, I'm lost on it now. Yeah. They're past me.
Right. So, but
But
yeah,
so it made a total of $130 million.
right. $122 million
Yeah.
profit.
That's incredible.
Yeah, for the first one, and that has nothing to do with any royalties, any sequels,
Yeah.
anything. That's major. That's major.
And
It was a win.
here's another reason why I feel like they did not expect this movie to be a huge success. Because opening weekend, it finished number 5 at the
Yes.
box office. So obviously there was no, because you were 8, so you're not old enough to remember. I wasn't born, so obviously there was no there was no kind of advertising of this movie. I would imagine.
Well,
I mean, maybe so,
summertime.
but it probably wasn't like Jaws where it was like, hey, this is going to be a big deal.
Yeah, yeah. But Jaws is another 80s movie, but yeah.
Well, Jaws was actually in the 70s, but it
Really?
was, yeah, yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah. But it was, like I feel like that movie was advertised a lot because it came out and was like, okay, this is popular from the start. This movie looks like it just gained steam, from word of mouth. So, which
Well,
to me are usually the best kind of movies.
yeah, yeah, but I think this is in the 80s. I know karate was a thing.
Yeah.
I'm trying to make sure, I'm
Was
trying to
it
understand, was it because of this movie or was it
exactly?
because karate was a thing? And I can't even remember, but I remember wanting to do karate because
It probably went hand in hand. It was probably getting a little bigger, and then this movie probably just made it explode.
yeah, more than likely. Yeah, more than
Is
likely.
probably
Which
how I would imagine.
yeah, and I couldn't really tell you because like I said, I was a child and I
Yeah.
couldn't when certain things come out, you just ask mom, can you go see it, dad, can you go see it? And
Oh yeah.
either you go see it or not, or you wait. So we waited.
All right. So here's the 4 movies that finished in front of it the opening weekend. And number 1 was Ghostbusters. I know you saw that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So
And
okay, I could see that being above Karate
I
Kid.
can see yes.
Number 2 was Gremlins, which you already mentioned.
I can
So
see that too.
yeah. Number 3 was an Indiana Jones movie. I don't never
It
seen
wasn't
it.
the first, if it wasn't the first one, I think for Temple of Doom was probably the first one in 81 or something. Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
dude, I don't. Yeah, this was actually Temple of the Doom.
Okay.
So I don't know. And then the number 4 movie was Rhinestone. I don't even know what that is.
At all. At
Yeah.
all.
So that was the top 5 the weekend that it came out, which, I think you look at it and you say, okay, like those are all, the 4 movies that we know out of those are really strong. And then you look at it for the full year of 1984,
Right.
Karate Kid finishes number 4. And the 3
Okay.
movies ahead of it are 3 movies already named.
That-
Yeah,
Ghostbusters.
Ghostbusters,
Right. Yep. The Ghostbusters
Indiana
probably.
Jones and the
Yep.
Temple of Doom, and Gremlins. So
Yes.
that's insane that they all 4 came out, I guess, around the same time.
Right. But that was a strong weekend. I
Yeah,
ain't gonna lie to you.
that's
Ghostbusters, Gremlins, and Indiana Jones, a
yeah.
strong weekend. And
So
Harrison
those,
Ford, they was playing the Harrison Ford card on that one. Harrison Ford was the guy back then.
oh yeah,
So he was
yeah.
the guy.
This was during his prime time right here.
Prime time. He had to be in his 20s, maybe 30 at the top, at the
Yeah,
most. Yeah,
maybe
he was
for
yeah.
sure. So if those movies are at the theaters right now, which one are you buying the ticket for?
The Gremlins.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I like a little bit of horror and a little bit of funniness. I enjoyed the Gremlins. I watched them a lot when I was younger.
I mean, that's definitely a good choice. I would definitely not choose Indiana Jones because I've never seen it. But I would actually, honestly, out of those four movies, I'm choosing this one right here. I'm choosing The Karate Kid.
Yeah, I mean, Karate Kid is a close second. Um,
Yeah,
Karate Kid is a close second. So Ghostbusters is Ghostbusters. I mean, but
yeah. Ghostbusters would probably be number three on my list because I think I would put Gremlins at number two.
yeah, oh yeah. So we flip flop. Yeah,
Yeah.
so,
Yeah, I just think the edge for me is just The Karate Kid is a closer sports movie, which, I'm always probably going to choose a sports movie.
right,
Karate's not really a sport per se, but it's a competitive,
right.
it's a competitive game or competitive
It's a
activity.
yeah skill martial art type. Yeah,
Yeah, skill. There you go, competitive skill. So, yeah, I'll probably choose The Karate Kid. I feel like in 1984, The Karate Kid would be my number one movie.
84.
Yeah, out
Okay.
of the whole year, out of the movies that we just talked about, that would probably be my number one. I don't If you scroll down the rest of the top movies, you got like Star Wars 3,
Oh,
Footloose, Purple Rain. Did you like Purple Rain?
I never saw it. I wasn't a Prince fan back then. I
Yeah.
couldn't appreciate the music at that point.
Actually, I changed my mind. My number one movie of 1984 for choosing all the movies would be The Terminator.
The first one?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. You're absolutely right. Terminator was a good movie. Let me
Yes.
say it was. I ain't gonna say good, but it was. If they had the animation today's technology to back then, oh my
Yeah.
god,
If
it
you could
it
match that story with the technology now,
my
it
yeah,
would blow every other movie away.
it would. You're absolutely right. You're
Because the
absolutely
problem is now you have the technology, but they don't make as good of stories. So
the story sucked.
sadly, if they make a new Terminator movie, or even just look at the last Terminator movie, yeah, that technology and the graphics were great, but I think the story was very just not good.
Yeah, just weak story. That's
Yeah,
all. Yeah,
for sure. Man, should we go ahead and get into our favorite scene?
sure, sure.
All right, let's go ahead and I'll let you go first this time. Favorite scene of the Karate Kid?
Favorite scene. So I have a few.
Oh, good.
But I'm just gonna name one. I have a few because
Okay.
I like the progression of how I like the scene when he started learning to do karate, where
Yeah.
he didn't know he was doing karate. So, and I know it's cliche because everyone said that's probably the best part. However, it's the discipline, it's the muscle memory that Mr. Miyagi was teaching in his unique way of teaching karate.
Yeah.
Up, down, side, swipe down. It's a very practical way of learning these motions and your muscle memory. So all you have to do is say, paint the fence. Paint the fence,
Yeah.
paint the house, and you kind of understand what to do. And then once you kind of tweak your body movement, you kind of got the movement down. So to me, that was the best part.
Yeah, I think it was definitely that's definitely one of the most memorable things from this movie. This movie has a lot of memorable moments, and that was
Yes.
definitely one of them. And I think it's and once that scene happens, this movie kind of jumps to another level, I feel like. Like it's already pretty good, but
Mhm.
after that it's like, okay, now we're gonna see some action, which is kind of crazy that we literally never really see once he learns to actually, karate, he never actually gets in any other fights until the tournament, which I thought was kind of wild. Like we didn't see him like no warm up or anything,
Yeah,
really.
but that's the thing. Mr. Miyagi, I know we're gonna probably get into favorite quotes. Said fighting is the last answer.
Yeah,
And basically diffuse a situation because fighting is not really going to solve anything. So it's one of those things that again it's a way of life. And if you notice, everything that Mr. Miyagi probably done is balance. He talk about balance. You
oh
balance your
yeah,
life. You know, it's it's very structured in the way Mr. Miyagi taught Daniel how to do certain things. but not just for karate, just for life, mentally. Karate is mental. Karate is here.
Yep.
You say here, here, and never here. And that means your gut instinct is never there. It's always in your heart and in your mind. And once your mind and your heart are kind of, together working in one accord, you make better decisions and you just do things a little more skillfully.
Not for sure. And I like that he made them when he was making them do all those chores to learn karate, they were like big chores, like paint the fence. And that was a huge fence.
Yes.
Like sand the deck or whatever. Like that was a huge, like it wasn't just like one simple, like, okay, let's just do one simple spot and hopefully you learn what you're doing. It was, like you said, muscle memory. So he made them do a lot.
Yes. For any skill that you do, like us playing pool, the repetition of the fundamental element behind anything, your muscles just react the same way all the time. You know that. Once you start deviating, that's when you start doing different things. And if you build onto a fundamental movement, like paint the fence, wax sand the floor, you build onto those fundamental movements and you become great. It become easy. It looks easy as you do with anything, basketball, football. Certain people make it look easy because their fundamentals are just great. So,
it's the same thing. We both play pool. I mean, the best way to get better is just to hit a lot of shots and to where it becomes muscle memory.
Yeah, exactly. And
so, all right, my favorite scene. I'm going to rattle off a couple here because unlike you, I'm not just going to say one. I'm going to say a couple. The first one that I like literally the first just 20 minutes of this movie. Like within the first 20 minutes of this movie, I know that's more than one scene, but if you go from literally the time that they start moving to California until the fight on the beach or the party on the beach or whatever, literally in that time frame, everything that's going on in this movie. You know that he's new to California.
Yep.
You know that Allie broke up with Johnny.
Yep.
You know that Johnny is a karate guy probably. You know that Daniel kind of likes karate but doesn't really know how to do it because he gets beat up by Johnny. So you kind of know you literally know everything pretty much, like what's already happened. Like, you know what I mean? Like, their backstory. And
one thing else is social economic conditions or the factors. She's from the hills.
She's rich. Yeah.
She's from the hills.
Yeah.
You had to kind of, what you mean? Okay. Yeah. And understanding that from the get-go, what I mean? So you kind of understand the social class and there, and as you said, from they didn't get to the school yet. They haven't even got to the school yet.
No.
Right. So
which is it kind of weird that they go to the same school, like her being on the rich side and him, but I guess there wasn't as many schools back then probably.
No, but that's how high school is. I mean, I know in my area, you got more elementary schools, then you got less middle schools, but you got one high school.
See, by the time I came around, there were so many high schools that, all the rich kids just went to one school and all the other kids went to other schools.
No. And where I come from, there's only like 2 feeder middle schools to one high school.
Yeah.
There's probably 6 feeder elementary schools to 2 middle schools.
Exactly.
And then you get to that high school, then no matter where you live as far as your financial means, you just kind of go into that one. Yeah. So.
But I just love how this movie does that. It just sets everything up perfectly.
Yep.
You could have just kind of breezed over it all and just been like, okay, the people will figure it out. But I love that they just really dialed it in and it gets you into the movie right away. Because right away I know who these people are. I'm invested. 2 other scenes I really like, and they're both montages, kind of, because I always love a good montage. One is when they go to the golf and stuff date, when they go on the date.
Yes.
Dude, I just love that. Like, first of all, that place seems awesome, and I would go there now.
That's funny. It's almost a outdoors. It's a Dave and Buster on steroids.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a Dave and Buster, and they used to have a lot of those in the 80s.
Oh yeah.
They didn't have they have the regular games. They might have Pac-Man and all that stuff. They didn't have stuff they have today, the 3D and all that stuff. But
Yeah,
it's
but
almost
I
like
don't want.
Frankie's. It's almost like Frankie's. Is it
Yeah,
Frankie's? Yeah,
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 Frankie's. Yeah, I don't want all those games. I want like the go karts that they were riding or
right.
whatever, like the water boat, the paddle boats or whatever they're called. The mini golf. I want all that stuff.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's old school. That's old school. They
Yeah.
they don't do that today.
So that part definitely that was one of my favorite scenes. Then also my favorite scene was kind of also a montage, just whenever they get to the tournament at the end, and just pretty much from that point on, I'm just like, I'm gonna watch this part anytime I see it because I just love how they show all the fights, within like a 4 minute span, and then they slow it down for like the final, the
Right.
semifinals. But literally, you see him do like 5 fights or whatever in like 2 minutes, and you're like, okay, I find that awesome. Always like you look at boxing movies where they, Rocky wins like 20 fights, and
Right.
it's like 30 seconds, and you're like, okay, this is really cool. You look at like, football movies where a team will win like 6 games and it's like a minute of movie time or something.
Right.
Like
Right.
I just
Right.
love montages like that. So I have to throw that under my favorite scene.
Yeah. I say I don't. I dislike it. It just kind of shows. It kind of shows you the time has passed through the what's name. You can see the time passing.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's kind of they try to make it. They prolong that time, but it looks like okay the progression, and then they show his name going further up,
Yeah.
which is
Exactly.
it was a good depiction of time.
Yeah.
How time went forward, how he was winning. So
Yeah. I mean, I loved it. And, I love that Allie with an eye was there cheering him on the whole way as his coach interpreter.
interpreter, right? Interpreter. Yeah.
Yeah.
I,
So, yeah. What? Go ahead.
no. We gonna get to the category. I
Yeah. Okay. Let's do least favorite scene. You want to do least favorite scene?
yeah. I don't. I really didn't have a least favorite scene to be honest.
Yeah.
I really didn't have a least favorite scene. I think everything was in a little bit of context. Most of the stuff was in context.
Yeah, I think that's when this is a great movie. Whenever it's like, okay, what was a bad scene, or like what could they really take out? Because it is over 2 hours. You're like, okay, this is over 2 hours. There's got to be something probably. But honestly, like to me, like I was reaching, but I could say maybe if you want to just really nitpick, you could say like, the 2 minutes there where you got to meet Allie's parents. Like, you could probably maybe cut that out, maybe, but
No, you can't.
no. Okay.
Yeah, and it gives context. It gives more context because of how Allie's parents are pushing her to be with someone that's on their social economic
Yeah.
level. Or they, I want my daughter to, because Johnny seems like he's an alpha type,
Oh yeah.
and I'm sure his parents have means. You never met his parents, but I'm sure they're
Yeah.
parents with means.
Yeah.
So it gives context. It gives context. Um,
Okay.
yeah,
But see, that's what
in
I'm
my
saying.
opinion.
Like,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm reaching for that. And then the other scene that I think you could probably maybe take out, or maybe just use it as a bathroom break, maybe would be the scene where Mr. Miyagi is drunk, thinking about his wife on there. But it's like, that gives his backstory, which is awesome. But yeah,
Context.
yeah. To me, that's just like, okay, like this is the one part of the movie where if I do need to get up to go get some popcorn, it would be right.
You're absolutely right, but I do it like again. That gives more context on why Miyagi kind of fell for this guy. Not fell
Yeah.
for him, but made his was teaching him
Oh, for sure.
because yeah, it kind of gives you context. Like he said, he's in this area all alone. He was so much in love with his wife that they lost a baby. He just can't get over
Hmm.
that.
Yeah.
This is like it was 1944. He's supposed to have that baby. And at 1984, that baby should have been about 30.
Yeah. 40. Yeah.
Yeah. So, he has nothing. He has never moved on. This is Mr. Miyagi's way of moving on. So you look at, like I said, it had different themes with
Oh,
this
for sure.
movie. So this is Mr. Miyagi's way of moving on because he never latched on to nobody else. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He kind of keep to himself, you know. So
No, I get it. Like I said, it was just that was just like the one part where I'm like, okay, like I can kind of
Right.
jump out. But like I said, really there is no least favorite scene. That's what happens when you make a great movie. That's
Yeah.
what happens when you have great writing, great directing. So we'll move on then to let's go back to a good category. Favorite character.
Yeah.
Who do
Mine
you
was
have?
Ali. Mine was Ali.
Allie with an
I just,
eye?
Ali was an eye. I just like the way she remained herself. Even though she's popular, she's
Yeah.
boys love her. You know, she remained who she was to the core. I mean, that's just like a good, like a good news story. But I like the way she just took up for him. She looked at looked beyond, popularity, beyond, I guess, money, and was herself. So,
Oh yeah, Allie was super awesome. Like I said, there's a reason why she would be top 80s female movie characters. Elizabeth Shue is amazing. Yeah, I could see why Johnny and why Daniel were both like, I want to go out with Allie. I get it, man. She is a great character, super attractive, you know, into sports. I mean, you see her in gym class participating in sports like crazy. Like,
exactly.
yeah, I mean, huge fan. I can see why that's your favorite character. And it's funny because I think one of my favorite characters, even though I literally just said I didn't really care about his backstory, Mr. Miyagi.
Mr.
Um,
Miyagi.
yeah, I just like him because he's kind of a smartass.
Mhm.
Like, he'll give answers like, "Hey, where did these cars come from? Detroit."
Right, right,
Like, and he says stuff like that multiple times. And I'm just like, you know what? That's how I am as a person. Like, I give answers like that. But he's so nice, he's funny, he cares about people, and he gives the best birthday present when he does give one of those cars to Daniel,
Mm.
which, by the way, when I got my license, my car was nothing like that.
right. That was a nice car, even for the time, even for '84. I think
Yeah.
it had to be maybe a '60s, some type of 1960 car. It was a nice car.
Yeah, this is when I wish that me or you were big time car people so we could be like, oh yeah, that's like a 61 whatever. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
but I
yeah,
have no idea. I have no idea what any of those cars are, and I really just was too lazy to look it up really. So I'm just like, those are all really nice.
right.
But yeah, I really like Miyagi, and I'm gonna throw out this for a favorite character, and you're probably gonna disagree. Johnny Lawrence as a favorite character, even though he's technically the bad guy, he gets in fight with Daniel. I think I think he's awesome. I think, and then at the end, he kind of maybe turns a little bit because he gives Daniel the trophy, like maybe he
Yeah.
realized the evil of his ways. I just think Johnny doesn't get enough love, and I think, this movie maybe wasn't as popular if Johnny wasn't as likable as he is.
Well, I think Johnny. I like Johnny as well. Johnny did turn. Johnny did change a little bit at the end. However,
Yeah,
Johnny had a reputation to uphold.
yeah.
Johnny played his part as a school bully or a school popular person. If you look at anyone that's in the '80s, there's always a bully. They're always there. I mean, at
But
least back
man,
then.
but listen though, man. Like, all right, when he first beats up Daniel on the beach early in the movie, Daniel gets involved with him and Allie's argument. When he shoves him down the hill on Halloween night, or when they chase him on Halloween night, Daniel puts the water on him when he's in the toilet. I'm just saying, Johnny had some reasons to be a little mad at this kid.
Not that. So the first reason was he did get into it. He did get into it with Johnny.
Yeah,
However, he's trying to he's a boy that like a girl that I'm gonna try to it was stupid. It was just dumb.
yeah,
Men fight over women. It's always stupid.
yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah. Man, we do some crazy things when it comes to women. But yeah, I just want to throw out the Johnny Lawrence love because to me, I think he might be my favorite character other than Mr. Miyagi. Like, and maybe it's just me also kind of, maybe wanting to see him win the tournament at the end. He was the two-time back-to-back champion. He needed that three-peat.
you need a three-peat.
Yeah.
Johnny definitely was a better karate person than
Oh yeah.
Daniel. Um, But for some reason, when you take your eye off the prize, again, like we play pool.
Yeah.
Yes, you're a better pool player than me. However, if you slip, I can't win the game. I can't win the
Oh, for
match.
sure. Yeah.
And that's what it was. He was so focused on winning. You're so focused on winning that you lose, and because you lose your focus. And that was Johnny Prime. But like I said, I like Johnny. I like all that little bully crew. It
Yeah,
was
man. I thought they were really cool. They seemed like they would be a lot of fun. All right, who would not be fun though? Who was our least favorite character?
the mom.
Daniel's mom?
Yeah,
Really?
yeah. I didn't really care for Daniel's mom. She didn't.
Lucille?
I see my son getting beat up.
Yeah.
Where was she at? Where was she?
She was working. She was a single mom.
Yeah, believe me, you can be a single mom, but one thing you don't play with is your boys.
Yeah.
You don't play with your boys. You don't do that. Moms love what? How do they say it? Moms raise daughters. They love their sons.
Yeah.
He had a black eye the first night he was there.
Yeah. Yeah.
He had a black eye the first night. Like,
Took him one night.
right. And then subsequent nights, he had another black eye or something that was crazy. Like, understand, I'm coming up to the school as a concerned parent. Like, I'm like, where is this lady at? I mean, and I understand single parent. I understand. But really.
No, I get it, dude. I get it. I can see why you hate her. I almost wrote her down for my list, but at the end of the day, I think my least favorite character would be Johnny's coach, Kreese. I think Sensei Kreese or whatever. I think John Kreese would just be my least favorite character. I think he's kind of, he's teaching not little boys, but high school kids to show no mercy and basically just be evil. I mean, he wants them literally to injure Daniel, and that's just, I mean, that's an evil character.
That's one of another plot in the movie, whereas it's almost like Darwinism. Only the strongest survive, and you teach a child, you teach someone young that's taking the world in. You teach them to be selfish. You teach them to you got to take what you want. They're going to be more aggressive. So he's basically teaching all these kids to be A-types and to take what you want, be aggressive, again, it's a lifestyle. The problem is you're indirectly teaching hate. You're indirectly teaching selfishness. You're indirectly doing a lot of things to these kids that they take out in the real world. Again, karate is nothing more than a metaphor for life.
Oh yeah,
that's it. So that's why that's what's going on in this picture. I mean, and Mr. Miyagi kind of says it a little bit, and one of his quotes. I don't know if one of his quotes was walking on the road, and you walk on the right side, you safe. You walk on the left side, you safe. You walked in the middle, sooner or later you're gonna get squashed. Mm-hmm. Meaning, in my mind, this is me. You can't ride the line. You can't ride the line. You can't be on both sides both sides. You're gonna be in the middle, and something's gonna happen if you're trying to ride both sides. So pick a side. That's what I mean. That's nothing.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna also say for least favorite character, I think the kid that he meets at the apartment complex at the very beginning. What was his name? Frankie. Yeah. Am I right? Is it Frankie? Freddie? Frankie?
I don't know who he was. He has no part, and you could have missed that.
Okay. But here's the thing. Oh yeah, definitely. We don't need him. But the thing is, he's like, oh yeah, Daniel, we're gonna be friends. Like blah blah blah. Then Daniel gets his butt kicked at the beach, and the guy's like, oh yeah, I can't be friends with Daniel. Like I can't. Like
he could have beat him. Like he could have won.
It's like, dude, like I mean, how bad are you? Like just because this kid gets gets beat up, like you're like, oh, I can't be friends with him. Like you literally have known him for like a day.
Right. Yeah, and it was stupid. But if anybody had any sense, it's not like you could have won that fight. No. Obviously, Johnny is the big dog on the block. He's
the back-to-back champion.
Right. So, That's
what about for least favorite character? Why are we not talking? You know, I love her. I love Allie with an I. I love her. But man, do we not give her some hate? She knows that Johnny hates Daniel, but she keeps going after Daniel. It's like, at some point, should she just not be like, you know what? Screw both these guys. I'm gonna go get James over here, that nobody knows. Like, I mean, seriously.
so she took a liking to Daniel because he stood up for her.
Yeah.
Nobody else did. James didn't, because James was at the beach. Nobody. She took up. Nobody would take up for her, help her. Even not even her girlfriends
Yeah.
did not help her with the radio scene. Like, he took up for her, and he didn't know what was going on. He just took up for her. That's character.
Another note. I did not like her friends either.
Oh yeah, her friends is stupid. But they again, the context about rich kids.
Well, it's also high school kids. I mean, I feel like maybe high school, yeah, but I don't know, just not. I don't know. Yeah. Anyways, I just feel like we had to throw a little bit of hate towards Allie. I've been talking her up. I mean, she's amazing. But let's move on to like some of our other funnier categories. Could The Rock have played somebody in this movie?
I have to know.
It would not be nearly as good.
No, I don't. No.
Yeah,
I'm just thinking about anybody. He's too big.
Well, yeah. I mean,
he was regular people in this movie.
yeah.
Working size people.
Plus, he wouldn't be teaching them karate. It would have to be something totally. He would have to be teaching them wrestling or something. Like, it would be a way different movie. Like
something else.
Yeah, it would not be. Yeah, sorry, The Rock's out on this one. That's a zero for The Rock here. We got the nudity. No, that's a no in this movie.
No,
it's way too. This isn't really a kids movie, but it's
a kids movie.
Yeah, I mean, but it applies for adults also. I feel like.
I think it applies for young adults. For older adults, you can appreciate the movie. You appreciate the movie more because you can see yourself go through those progressions of life.
Yeah.
For younger folks. Yeah.
So no nudity, even though I would love Elizabeth Shue. Honestly, it would probably be the greatest movie ever. I'm not even kidding. I would actually probably just replay that scene. So anyways, the other category is, do we like a sequel, prequel, or TV show? We actually pretty much get all of those.
We do.
We get a couple sequels. We get, the Cobra Kai TV show that they have now. And then I guess they're making another sequel coming out next year, Karate Kid Legends. So,
yeah. Well, out of everything that's already a sequel, whatever it is, series, I think the Cobra Kai is probably the better one.
It's amazing. Did you watch it all?
I didn't watch it all. I watched the first season, which was good.
Oh, that's one of the best seasons of any show ever.
I don't know about the best season of any show because I like Breaking Bad.
Now, Breaking Bad, yeah. Well, Breaking Bad was phenomenal as well. I'm not saying the first season of Cobra Kai is the best. I'm just saying it's.
Oh yes.
If you were to list like a top 10
list
of like seasons, it would be in that list.
Yes. Cobra Kai was actually pretty. It was when I saw it, I was like, I kept moving it, kept pushing it. And I said, let me just watch it one night. And I tried to binge that whole season. It was a good setup. Whoever wrote that, I wonder did the same writer write it?
No, it's not the same writer. No.
Okay.
When it came out in 2018, and it came onto YouTube, it was a YouTube show.
Really?
I paid for the YouTube Premium or YouTube Red, I think is what it was called then. I paid for it, and I watched all 10 episodes in one day, and it was probably one of the best days of my life. Like, I'm not even kidding.
You don't watch series?
No, and I watched all 10 episodes in one day.
Yeah, that's.
Like, I sat in my room, laid in bed, and watched all 10 episodes in one day. I loved it, man. They focused on Johnny Lawrence, who I already said was one of my favorite characters. Right. They, really connect the Karate Kid movie. They connect this movie to the show very well.
Very well. Yes.
And they've kind of continued that for all the other seasons. I mean, it definitely was a drop off, I feel like, after that first season. Like, I
It
don't know if
wasn't
they
that.
really. You could tell that they spent years and years coming up with that first season. Like, I feel like that was like, they had came up with that years ago
Right.
and just kept making it better and better. And then when it became as popular as it did, they were like, oh, what do we
Oh
do
shit!
now?
I got to do something. So they try to carry a storyline. They try
Yeah.
to carry that storyline. I mean, like I said, I only saw the first episode. I mean, first season, and then the second season was. It started to get a little cheesy. I was like,
Yeah.
I don't. It's
Big
not
time.
something I have to watch.
Yeah. Yeah. The first season's a must watch for anybody. So there's
Yeah,
definitely that. For this movie, we haven't been doing it for every movie, but definitely for this movie, favorite quotes. You've already mentioned a couple.
yeah. I
Uh,
mentioned that.
do you have any more written down? Because I had three written down.
No,
You
I
already
only had
mentioned
two.
one, which was the karate is here, karate
Oh
is
yeah,
here. It's never down here. That was definitely one of my favorite quotes from this movie.
right.
And
Yeah,
then
I mentioned that one, and I mentioned fighting is always the last answer. That's another quote he said. Then I mentioned the walking one. He
yep,
walks. Yeah.
I like the walking one. I also like well, one of just the most famous quotes from this movie was when Kreese tells Johnny sweep the leg.
Right.
That became kind of a big thing. There's even a song sweep the leg. So that was big. But also, here's a quote that I really like that nobody really talks about. It's not definitely not gonna anywhere on the scale, but I notice it and I love it. It's kind of a background quote when Johnny's fighting Daniel at the end, and one of the other Cobra Kai goes, "Get him a body bag." I just
Yeah.
love it. Like I just love
Well,
it.
you know what? The funny thing is, as you say that, I can hear it. I hear it in my
Yeah,
ear. Yeah, I hear it in
it's
my head. Yeah,
that.
give him a body
It was
bag.
like that was just like thrown in. I feel like I'm not even sure that might not have even been in the script. It wouldn't surprise me if one of those kids just yelled it out, like just in
Yeah,
the moment.
yeah, something just to be. Yeah, but you're right. I mean, yeah, I usually listen for quotes that's meaning that hits me. Like, oh,
Yeah,
it makes
I just try
right.
to.
Yeah,
For me, the quotes are all about what can I use like next time I go out, like
right.
and I'm having a like next time we're at the pool hall and we're having a conversation, like which one of these can I just blurt out in the middle?
Give him a body bag.
Yeah,
When
yeah.
somebody losing, get him a body
Oh, dude.
bag.
As soon as next time we're at a pool tournament, as soon as you go play, I'm gonna say, "Get him a body bag." You can already
Right.
count on that, man. You can already count on
Yeah.
that. There's definitely so that's all the quotes, right? That's all the quotes
Yeah.
that we got. Okay. So there's definitely a couple other notes that I've made about this movie that I want to talk about that didn't really fit in any of our categories. Number one, the ending. All right, so you have the fight, right? Between
Mhm.
Johnny and Daniel. And then it just ends.
Yep.
Like the movie's over. Did that just feel like super rushed to you? Like, do you not feel like there should have been like another minute or two of something? Like,
Nope. You
really?
know, no, I don't. Remember we talked about another movie, and I forgot the movie what it is right now. But we talked about another movie, and we was like, it kind of carried on. If you're going to end the movie, end the movie.
Yeah.
Don't try to make stuff up just to kind of make it a sweet ending. The sweet ending was that he won.
Yeah.
That's it.
And it's funny though, because I do love the ending, and I love that they're just kind of zoom in on Miyagi. But it just felt like it just the whole scene just kind of felt rushed. It was just like he won.
Mhm.
They celebrate for like 20 seconds, and then it's like we won, Miyagi, we won, and I'm just like, wow, like okay, that was like
Fast. Right.
it was a 127-minute movie. We could have made it 128 there, like I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
I
I get
just I don't know. So that was a note that I had, and then here's another idea that I had, or a thought that I had also about the ending. Because obviously I think the ending is the most, where he does the crane kick, to win the match. I think that's
right.
the most memorable part of this movie. Daniel gets hurt. Johnny, kicks him in the leg, or the other kid kicks him in the leg, and Johnny can't really walk. What happens if they just end it there? Daniel can't continue, so Miyagi goes out and's like, "Hey, Kreese, let's just do Sensei versus Sensei." Would that have been a great ending?
That'd have been an alternative ending. I'd have liked it. But
Yeah.
you ever notice Kreese never did any karate moves in the whole
Never.
time? So you don't
Never.
know what he knows. You know what I mean? All you know is he's sensei.
Yeah.
And he's the he might just be the living form of the karate book. That was a funny one too. Learning karate out of a book. That
Yeah,
was
he's in
hilarious. That was
he's
one of
in the
your, like you
living
said,
room.
those snide remarks.
Yeah.
You know, out of a book. You know.
He's in the
Yeah.
living room doing 20 kicks with each leg.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So Kreese could just be a fraud, and I think, but I also think it would just been cool to see Miyagi go out there, and just accomplish because I think Daniel had grown up at this point. Daniel was an adult. He's learned life lessons. Miyagi's taught him what he set out to teach him. So I don't know necessarily Daniel needed to win to make this a great finish.
Well, Daniel needed to win to get them to leave him alone. Because
I don't, but man, I don't know. I don't know. See, I disagree. I don't know. I don't know if Daniel needed to win. I don't know. I think this movie's fine without him winning.
not because, and I say that because if I beat you,
Yeah.
as far as a fight, I'm beating on you or I'm fighting you because I know I can beat you. I know you can't do nothing. I know I can get the best of you. Now, you never see two sharks fight each other. You never seen two sharks, fight. I never seen two sharks fight each other, and they swim around each other. And you put this into a perspective where you never really see two real good pool players play each other for money on purpose with their money. Why?
Oh yeah.
I got a lot of other guppies over here that I can eat up, I can swallow. And that's the thing. Like, I'm not going to mess with nobody on my level because they're on my level. Because at that point, it's a gamble. You know what I'm saying? And that's what it is.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense. To me, I feel like almost like as great as this movie is, I almost feel like I definitely feel like if this movie was made today, Daniel does not win. If this movie is made today, Daniel does not win because they set out at the very start saying, "Hey, we're making this a series. Like this is going to be a sequel." Because if Daniel doesn't win, you automatically have your sequel where the fight continues. But maybe they quit messing with him anyways because Miyagi beats the crap out of Kreese, and they're like, "Oh, okay."
But I think
since they lose, why do we want to be like him if we just watched them lose?
Why do we want to be losers?
Right. Yeah.
But I do think you're right. I do think it would have been a better scene if the coaches or the senseis would have fought. You're absolutely right. Because Miyagi, I ain't gonna say Miyagi could have lost, but I think Sensei was a little younger than Mr. Miyagi. Mr. Miyagi's a little smoother. So that'd have been a different fight where as far as brute force go against actual skill.
Yeah, and that's
yeah.
And let's talk about the sequels for a second too. Karate Kid 2, Karate Kid 3. I think I actually would have maybe invested more time in those movies if they brought back all these same people. Because I want to see that story continue. Like I want to see the Johnny Lawrence, Daniel LaRusso. I want to see the Mr. Miyagi, John Kreese. I want to see what Allie does, with Allie with an eye. I want to see what she does. I want to see these things. Like it said they just didn't go that way, which, whatever. I mean, it kind of was a letdown. But so that got one other thing that I think we need to talk about before we and then if there's anything you need to talk about. But the next thing, the soundtrack to this movie. Is this first of all, you were, this is more your time because obviously before my time. But did this rewatching this movie just instantly take you back to like the mid-80s?
Absolutely. You just you just kind of reminisce and kind of think about songs that you haven't heard in a while that you sing like, how do I know this song? And absolutely right. It's just one of those things, one of those times. It puts you back into that nostalgia. Put you back into that. I'm 8 years old, 10 years old, however old I was, and it's just you start thinking about things you've been doing. I mean, I'm always like that. I overthink everything. To be honest.
Oh yeah.
So,
No, I loved it, man. I also feel like every song that played literally tied into the scene that it was playing on.
Yes, yes. That means they paid attention to the
Yeah.
scene. They
Like you
understood the
had,
scene.
yeah, because at the end, they're playing "You're the Best" by Joe Esposito. Like it made sense because they're trying to be the best.
Right.
Um, what was the other one? Young Hearts played, I think, when they were on the date. Wasn't that the name of that song that they played when they were on the date at the golf and stuff?
I don't know the name of the songs. I probably know. I know the words.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was Young Hearts. So nowadays, if you watch movies now, they'll play great songs and they'll play songs that we know, but a lot of times I feel like they just don't have anything to do with what's going on.
Right. It don't match. It don't match the energy of the scene.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think the soundtrack did match the energy of the scenes that played.
Yeah, and I think that's another reason why we both. Well, I mean, why I definitely love this movie. Any movie that has a great soundtrack and the soundtrack goes along with what's happening, it just helps you watch it better because now not only are you interested in what's happening on the screen, you're also hearing a song where you're like, oh, okay, like this matches like
Right.
what's going on. It's getting you more into it. And yeah, I mean, this, you had a song by Survivor. You had a song, like I said, by Joe Esposito. You had a song by, Commuter. You had a lot of great songs, man. A lot of
Right.
songs that were popular in the mid 80s. So big shout out to whoever made the soundtrack for this
Soundtrack.
movie.
Right. Yep. Yep. You're
So,
absolutely right.
yeah. So, James, Kaiser, is there anything else that we need to talk about?
No, I think we talked about everything. Like I said, I like the movie. This is a must see. Not must see. I
Yes.
think everyone already saw it. But you go back and look at it, you get different perspectives now that you're older.
Mm-hmm.
I think from when I looked at it before, I never looked at some of the life lessons in it. Now that I'm older, and then I'm looking at it like, oh, okay,
Oh,
makes
yeah.
sense. It makes sense, and it kind of gives me more ammunition to put in my tool case to gives my kids because you want to kind of pass this information on.
Yeah. And
So
I agree with you. I think now that, we're older, I definitely paid attention more to like the life lessons and more to what Daniel was learning as he was going throughout the movie because earlier when I was younger watching this movie, as a teenager, really all I cared about was Johnny Lawrence and how awesome he was and how he should have been the winner and I cared that Allie with an eye was super hot and she needed to be with Johnny because he was the best
right,
fighter, and I just didn't really care what Daniel was learning. I was like, okay, whatever. But now it's like, oh wow, like this is like life lessons. Like this isn't just he's learning karate in a weird way.
right. This is but a lot of older. We talked about this before. A lot of older films, TV and big films have better plots.
Yeah.
They're actually teaching, or they actually have a story that they're trying to convey, not just
Oh yeah, that
zombies and I'm gonna kill
yeah.
you and that's it.
And that
But
was actually one other thing I did want to mention. The story to this movie, very in depth, very detailed. Last two movies that we did, The Infiltrator and Time Cut, this movie is a complete different
yes,
style than those two. Like, there's a reason why this one's way better than those two.
yes. But I think we lose. I think from a performing arts and movie industry, I think we're moving away from actual content,
Yeah.
good content. We're just filling the gap of, I don't know what you call it, movie, filling the gap. It's not really anything. There's no content there no more, in my opinion.
Yeah,
So
movies now are just set out just to entertain you for an hour and a half.
exactly.
And like this movie was a great movie, but if I just wanted to be entertained for an hour to an hour and a half, it's probably not something I would want to put on because, for one thing, it's over 2 hours. So I definitely am going to want to sit there for the whole 2 hours. So, yeah, it's going to be way different.
Yeah, understood. Makes sense.
But overall, we both recommend The Karate Kid, which you can watch right now on Netflix.
Yep, and this is no. We're not telling you to go purchase Netflix. It's telling you that it's on Netflix platform.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. It's probably on some other ones too. I guarantee you it's got to be somewhere else.
Yes, you can see this on regular TV. Actually,
So. Comes on all the time.
all the time.
Yeah. So that pretty much sums up the latest episode of Film is Literature, man. It's been fun.
It has. It has.
Yeah.
We doing the next Netflix recommendation?
Dude, I did not look up one. I did not look up one. I did not. Let's look. We'll look right now as we're recording. We'll look it up.
Okay.
Let's see what we got here. All right. Let's see. All right. Let's see here. All right. So, top 10 movies. All right, man. It looks like we got a bunch of Christmas movies going on here.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess it might be a Christmas movie, James. We'll decide later.
Yeah, we'll decide later because I don't
Yeah.
really care for Christmas movies.
Yeah. We'll decide later. I'll look into it. We'll figure something out. But next Tuesday we'll be back.
Sounds good to me.
All right.
Yep.
Y'all make sure
I'll be off. Yep.
Perfect. Well, y'all make sure you look up Film is Literature on YouTube, Podcast Hell channel. We appreciate y'all watching. Kaiser, famous last words?
None. Good night.
Good
God
night.
bless. Good night.
And I'll say, check you later.